right, 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. If you are a regular listener of radio stations or a regular viewer of TV stations, then you have been exposed at one time or another to an infomercial. And an infomercial that'll get you healthy and in shape and all of that. And all you got to do is buy the program. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. And I wish there was a way for me to let you know in advance when anything ever came through our table, whatever, our broadcast waves, that I can say, this one I'm not so sure about. This next one I'm sure about. Marilynn Preston knows her stuff. She's been doing something like this since 1976, did I remember right? Mm-hmm. Marilynn is an Emmy Award-winning television producer, a journalist, a healthy lifestyle expert. Her book is called All Is Well, The Art and Science of Personal Well-Being. She's the author also of Energy Express, America's longest-running syndicated fitness column. I was just reading some of her work earlier this morning to prepare for this interview. And if you're looking at the streaming video that we're doing right now of this interview, or perhaps a recorded version of it, we'll put it up as a podcast also, then you're looking at the cover of the book, All Is Well, The Art and Science of Personal Well-Being. Marilynn Preston, I'm all ears. I'm a failure when it comes to well-being. I need to listen to what you've got to say. Good morning, Marilynn.
Good morning to you. No such thing as failure, just feedback.
Oh.
We keep trying over and over.
Well, you know what? I'm going to maybe shift the blame from myself just for a second, since you said that, because maybe the blame is that I haven't paid attention to somebody who really can help me, and that's why I want to listen to you.
Well, thank you. But I must tell you, in all honesty, I'm a student of behavior change, Larry, which is, I've been writing this column for 40 years, and so I'm always curious, how is it that some people can make that big shift to eating real food or getting more exercise into their day?
Right.
And so the good news, bad news, people don't change because other people tell them to.
Right,
or even,
right.
I can say to you, oh my God, exercise is the thing to do. It's just, it's an elixir. Eat real food, that'll help. But people only change when they're ready.
Yes.
So this could be your day.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the science fiction movie I never saw, because I don't know that they made one. But the science fiction movie I never saw was the one that has a fat guy switch bodies with a fit guy, and the spirit from the fit guy goes into the fat guy, who all of his life said, it's in my genes, and 6 months later he's fit. Mm-hmm. Because because if somebody else could take over my body and then I could get back into it, I'd be fine.
Well, I don't have that kind of program. Actually, I have the opposite. I would say it's what the research shows, which is so interesting, that it's only when people accept themselves just the way they are, just at the weight they are, at the fitness level they are. They accept themselves, they love themselves, and from that place, change is much more likely to happen. It's interesting.
Wow. And in all the years of doing this, I'm sure every success story that that you've been a catalyst to make happen, I'm sure that it's like kind of a feather in your cap. You must have so many feathers. I mean, it must be a wonderful feeling when you see somebody or hear about somebody who has actually made that change because of something they've read that you wrote.
I think sometimes I think I'm a catalyst, but they have to be ready to change. They have to either be, I was just up in the North Woods of Wisconsin, which is a very conservative part of the country, a beautiful part of the country, and I couldn't help it. I've been going up there for 30 years. It's such a beautiful place. Not as beautiful as Ocala, but
no, Wisconsin's very pretty.
Right, Wisconsin. But what I noticed up there is that the local health food local health food store has tripled in size. That so many fitness centers, yoga places, Pilates, people who dine on brats and brewskis, as we do up in the North Woods.
Yep.
They are hungry for change. They are sick and tired of being sick and tired. It cuts across all
really?
politics.
Wait a minute.
It's a fact.
Robin is from Wisconsin. And so what you're saying is that all of this brat and brewski stuff is going to start to go away.
Well, I think people are going to modify their behavior. It's moderation in all things. So at the same time they're eating brewskis and brats, they're also very interested in kale and quinoa. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is that comes from them. Is that it's not because their doctor told them to eat healthier. It's because, as this friend of mine said up north, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they know that some little changes, going to the farmer's market, eating, as I say, real food instead of a lot of packaged processed foods that we know contribute to obesity, big time.
And I think I think it really affects the family unit too, because I know when my children were growing up, I made sure we were all eating dinner together. And now it seems like people are running haphazard. They're not sitting down. They're getting those shakes, or they're going through a drive-through, eating in the car. And I think with this, the mind-body connection, like you say in your writing, is that people need that kind of connection with each other.
Yes. Oh, it's hugely important. They found that people are concerned about longevity. They want to live longer, and they know that exercise is part of it. A big part of it. Eating well is a big part of it. But you know what's a bigger part of it are your social relationships. In terms of longevity, you are who you love and who loves you. So you're right, sitting down at dinner, taking time during the day to meet a friend, a real friend, not a Facebook friend, but a real friend, for a cup of coffee, and making that connection is so important to someone's well-being, personal well-being.
So tell me your story a little bit. I don't have the whole book, but I was looking online and I saw in the introduction that you're talking about 1972. You were going to ride bicycles with your husband in France. And tell me about that.
Yeah, so we went out. 72 was such a brave and wonderful thing to do, take our 10-speed bikes to France. And so I thought I'd just go out in my local park and, just kind of see what kind of shape I was in. Well, I swear it was like a near-death experience. I was sucking up the dirt. So I kind of woke up to the fact that, okay, I'm out of shape, and I'm a journalist, and journalists always they kind of investigate the things they're interested in. So I started getting very interested in personal health, and also from a point of view of combining Eastern and Western medicine, looking at what are the things that are so important to health from the perspective of the best of the East, the best of the West, a kind of integrated approach. So in 1976, I went to the Chicago Tribune. That was my home paper then, and suggested a new kind of medical column. That all the doctor columns were about pills and hemorrhoids and headache remedies, and
right.
So I said, no, I'd like to write about fitness and wellness, and I'm a runner with knee pain. What do I do? And how can I really lose 10 pounds over the next few months? And so the paper said yes. they liked the idea, and that was the beginning of this column, Energy Express, which I must say, I'm happy to say, 41 years later.
Congratulations.
All right, so were you the teacher learning from the teacher?
I went out and found right away when they said yes to the column, I began to work with the best sports medicine doctor in Chicago at the time. David Bachman he was team doctor for the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, and the Bears. And so I made sure, because after all, this is information appearing in the newspaper. You've got to be right.
Right.
So every word I wrote was checked by David. And then over time, I trained as a personal trainer. I still am one. Trained as a wellness coach. And over time, over 41 years as a journalist, I developed quite an expertise in healthy lifestyle.
You know what I want to ask you, Marilynn? I want to ask you this. I opened up your interview with the statement that I wished I could say to the listeners before any infomercial comes on. I'm not so sure about this one. I wish I could say that. Do you do that same thing? Do you hear maybe other people giving advice on the TV or read columns in other papers and say, yeah, no, I don't quite agree with that? Does that happen?
Oh my gosh, yes. Sure, because people there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of it. And it's kind of cruel to people. Like, remember when they were telling people to don't eat fat. If you eat fat, you'll get fat. Remember that? That was so popular. Well, that's completely wrong information. They've had to walk that back now. And they realize that your body needs fat to function well. And things like avocados. Remember how much we love it, but they were a forbidden food. Well, now an avocado is a very healthy fat. And what happened was when people began to deny themselves fat and go for the non-fat, they went for things with sugar in them. And this has been a big, big problem. It's addictive, and it really messes up with your metabolism. So that's one. So there, and there's just so much misinformation. So of course I look at those other columns and I look at those other books, and people have to really rely. I guess the conclusion I've come to is that self-care is the best care. You really have to become a student of your own body, your own health.
And that's a really good, important point, because now you look around and there are so many quick fixes for obesity. I mean, you've got stomach stapling operations, you've got bypass surgery, you've got everything like that, liposuction, and people think, oh, I'm going to get this done and then I don't have to worry anymore. But that's not true, because it's not a lifestyle change.
Yes, you're exactly right. So I think the first rule is if it feels like it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. You cannot take a pill and sleep away your fat. And this business, this diet industry, it's billions of dollars that people spend chasing these dreams, when really the solutions are much simpler, much less expensive. And it begins, I think, the biggest, because you can't outrun your fork. That's what they say. You can't. You get all the time exercising. If you're dealing with too much body weight, it begins with what you're eating. And the simplest rule is just eat real food. If it's got a long list of ingredients,
real food. Wow.
Eat real food. I mean, that would do it, and yet we're kind of addicted to our processed foods. They're inexpensive. They're delicious. They are made. You want to consume more of them. That's what food chemistry does. Right. And
wow, you're in good shape.
We have to revert to simpler. Go ahead.
I just found your picture on Amazon. You are in good shape. Look at you. Well, how much do you exercise a day?
I'm very modest. I'm a big yogi. I love yoga. I do a mix of things. I've never been a marathon runner, never been a competitive athlete. That's why I feel so confident that some activity, whether it's a walk, you can do kayaking, you can do square dancing, you can go out and wash your car. The body wants to move. And I think that's another bit of misinformation, I think, that's been cruel, is that people get pushed into these sports, like they have to play basketball or soccer.
Right. Yeah. I love the fact that you're saying that, because I play accordion. Is that good enough? I mean...
I think it could.
He sweats.
Yes, now you might have to play accordion on the treadmill.
Marilynn, Preston is our guest. By the way, I just bought the Kindle book. I just did the thing on Amazon, and it'll be waiting for me when I get off the air. All is Well is the name of the book. We need to take a little break, and we'll be right back with Marilynn. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, times of sun and clouds with a shower or thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours, the high 90 to 94. Then partly cloudy later Wednesday night, low 74 to 78. A mix of clouds and sun for Thursday with an afternoon thunderstorm in spots, but dry along the coast, the high 90 to 94. And for Friday, partly sunny with a thunderstorm or two around, especially in the afternoon, the high 88 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Did you call Mike Scott Plumbing about the irrigation?
No, but did you know a crocodile can't stick its tongue out? Or that Humpty Dumpty rhyme never actually says he's an egg? Or that Chuck Norris counted to infinity? Twice.
Where the hell do you come up with these facts? And what's that have to do with the lawn?
Nothing really, just hoping you'd forget what you told me to do.
Well, here's a fact. Just like an elephant, I never forget. And here's another fun fact for you. If my plants die because you didn't call Mike Scott Plumbing to come over and install an irrigation system, you're going to be the one out there all night with a hose.
Well, as a matter of fact, I think I'll call Mike Scott Plumbing right now.
Now that's a fact.
237-2888.
Yes, 237-2888. Because if...
I know. If water runs through it, they do it. Did you know honeybees have 5 eyes?
Oh, brother, you're going to do this all night now, aren't you?
Or that a strawberry is not actually a berry, but a banana is? Or that Chuck Norris killed 2 stones with 1 bird? Or that polar bears are left-handed? We all know that sound means there's going to be some need for collision repair work, and soon. What you may not know is that it's your choice where to have that collision work done, not the other guy's insurance company. Because your vehicle is much more than just transportation. It's like a family member. So don't bring it to just any chain collision center. Bring it to Lyle's Collision Service. When it comes to getting your vehicle back to 100%, you can count on Lyle's Collision Service. They're not some fly-by-night chain company. They're a family-owned and run collision center with over 33 years of experience. Working with collision repairs and vehicle restoration, Lyle's Collision only uses quality parts and doesn't take shortcuts like some other companies. They take pride in getting the job done right and in a timely manner. They specialize in insurance claims and they strive to get your vehicle back to you as soon as possible. So the next time you hear this, remember, it's your choice. And the choice is clear. Lyle's Collision Service.
All right, Marilynn Preston is on the phone. I just bought her book, Robin. I just bought it. I love the fact that you can do this, and it's waiting for me in my office on my little Kindle thing. All is Well is the title of the book I just bought. The Art and Science of Personal Well-Being. For those of you who know me, you know I'm not that physically fit, and I need to be. My son, Marilynn, by the way, thank you for waiting for the break. My son, 1 month ago, went on this hike out in the mountains in Colorado, and he's very fit. You know, he just takes care of himself, and he didn't get that from me. He must have learned. He's a smart guy. But when he was showing me the pictures after he came back, I thought, gosh, I got to do something. I got to get out more. You know, you talked about a journalist's lifestyle. Well, it's even worse, I think, for on-air personality because you're stuck here with this microphone.
Yes, and you know they find that there's tremendous benefit in getting out into nature. This is so interesting that it really has an effect at a cellular level on the body. So there are people who are, let's say you did exercise indoors. If you take that same exercise outdoors, if you just walk outdoors, just sit by the river outdoors, your body will have a sense of personal well-being. And that's something that the book is about. I want to make sure, Larry, that you know, it's not so, you know, personal well-being isn't really about how much you weigh or how many crunches you can do or how many times you've been to the gym. It's much bigger than that. And it's much more possible when you think about personal well-being. It's a very personal subject. And so that's kind of where I took the book. I wanted to take it away from the idea of everyone has to be fit or be thin, or it's bigger and broader than that. And you have to start where you are. That's the thing.
And you go to the children also. I mean, you're the founding chair of Girls in the Game, and you not only try to instill in them to live a healthy lifestyle, but to appreciate themselves, and they have talents and they have things that they can give to others.
Yes, it's a big. It is. One way to feel good is to do good, and I'm privileged to be able to work with this organization based in Chicago, but they do programming for girls in other states as well. And it's just so important to give them that encouragement at a young age to feel good about their bodies, to do sports, not to become a champion athlete, but because when you do sports, you learn about team play. Right. You build your confidence. So,
well, it is neither the athlete nor the marathon runner that I want to be. You know what I want to be? I want to be I used to be fluid. I used to be able to walk like there was no wind, like the wind was helping me actually. And I want to get back to that. Do you know?
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can I? Okay. So have you ever tried? Hold on now. Have you ever tried yoga?
No, and I don't even know what it is. I mean, I see people cross-legged. That's in my mind. I don't even know what else it is. I honestly...
Okay. Well, that's very good because I'm sure you've got a great center right there in Ocala, certainly in Gainesville, I know, where, by the way, the column still runs. So yoga is an ancient practice, but I won't go into a lot of detail about it, but if you get a little curious to take a beginner's class, because it's the sense of being fluid that you talked about that is so important. In a certain way, it's more important than body mass index. That feeling of this is my body, I can move it without pain, and when I do, and I can move it slowly, and I don't have to do big movements, I can do little movements, it floods your body with pleasure chemicals. And that feeling, that felt sense of, oh, this feels good, will then motivate you to be more physical.
Really?
And then you add strength, and it's kind of a slow process, but that is that's one gate in. There are many others, but it's one of my favorites.
I just have a feeling that when I walk into that class, it's going to be like Chris Farley walking into that class.
Oh.
They're going to say, "Oh my God, this guy's going to." It's going to be lots of skinny girls with tight tights on. They're going to think I'm some perverted fat guy wanting to come and look at them all.
Well, the skinny girls with the tights may keep you coming back to class.
You're all funny. That's what a lot of people in your reviews are saying, that it's a very humorous book. I'm looking forward to reading it. Marilynn, what an honor! Thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thank you.
The best thing I can tell. Let me give you our website. What's your website?
Marilynn, with 2 N's, MarilynPreston.com.
All right.
And thank you both, Larry and Robin. It's been a great pleasure. It's good to start your day with some laughing, so thank you.
And where are you? I don't think I asked you this. Where are you calling from?
I live now in Tiburon, California.
In California, okay.
In California, but I've very close ties to Florida. I must say that I have friends in Ocala. My sister lives in Gainesville. As I say, the column runs there, and I'm actually headed down to Florida in November and to do a couple of events about the book. So maybe we'll be back in touch.
If you're in the area, definitely come into the studio. We'd love to have you.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. That'd be great. Thank you.
All right.
So kind.
Thank you. I'll give you an update on how the book has helped me, too.
Great.
Thank you, Marilynn.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back.
Here is your 30-second news brief. A home intruder was shot and killed Monday night in Summerfield. The Marion County NAACP is renewing its call for the removal of Confederate symbols from government property. A study by the University of Florida concluded that sea level rise on Florida's coast is the result of El Nino and the North Atlantic Oscillation and not climate change. And while license plate frames are common in Florida, the Highway Patrol says they are illegal. The fine is $114. That is your news brief from The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. A memorial service begins soon in Charlottesville for Heather Hare, a victim of Saturday's violent protest.
That service will be held at a theater in Charlottesville's downtown pedestrian mall, just a block or so away from the scene of the car attack that cost Heather Hare her life. Her family has asked that people coming wear the color purple, Heather's favorite color. 19 other people were injured when James Alex Fields is alleged to have plowed his car deliberately into a group of people protesting the presence of white supremacist demonstrators.
Fox's Evan Brown. SpaceX does it again.
Capture complete. Go for post-capture reconfiguration.
After a 2-day flight, the Dragon cargo craft completes a grocery run to the International Space Station.
Thanks, Paolo. Nice work. Congratulations on a job well done. You guys have just won yourself some fresh food.
Other supplies include nearly 24 mice needed for a scientific study. Fox News, we report, you decide.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is in full swing.
All right, man. 7 ballparks in 7 days. Here we go.
I've got my maps.
You don't need them. Huh? I got a nav system. See, you could even pinch to zoom. Look at.
And with available Sync 3 and voice-activated navigation, Ford Fusion has the tech to get you there and back.
Okay, you're holding that map upside down, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I thought Indiana looked strange.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% APR financing for 72 72 months on select Fusion, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Plus, get $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends August 22nd. Best selling based on current year 2016 sales. Don't drive while distracted. Use voice-operated systems when possible. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
The Ad Council.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new truck.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Have you heard of Hyperdirectory? When looking for local businesses, go to hyper.directory. No need for www, no need for .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to local companies when it matters most. Hyperdirectory is your local business directory partnered with the Ocala Chamber and Economic Partnership to bring you trusted local businesses. Keeping Ocala local. Use hyper.directory. No www, not even .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to businesses when it matters most.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
When we're stressed, we tend to take shallower breaths. If our brain isn't getting enough oxygen, it'll send signals to our body telling it to yawn deeply in order to get more air. Female Tinder users are 98% less likely to swipe right on your profile if your bio section is blank. Taking breaks does, in fact, help boost our mood and makes us more creative and productive.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is reporting that a home intruder was shot and killed Monday night in Summerfield. According to the report, at around 10:30 p.m. on Monday, an armed suspect entered the home of Sean Peterson. The suspect, who is not named in the report, then hurt a pit bull dog named Zeus. Details of the attack on the dog were not included. Peterson then reportedly barricaded himself in a room, and when the intruder attempted to open the door to the room Peterson was in, Peterson shot the suspect. The suspect was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced deceased. No other details of the incident were included in the report. Confederate symbolism is once again in national news following the deadly violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. About a year ago, Marion County officials wrestled with the idea of removing a Confederate flag. The result of that debate was to move the Confederate flag from a display on 25th Avenue in front of the McPherson Governmental Complex to a location elsewhere on the property designed as a historic display that includes the 4 other flags that flew over the state of Florida. Now, in the aftermath of the Charlottesville incident, the Marion County NAACP is renewing its call for the removal of all Confederate symbols from local government-owned land. A statement in the Star Banner from Yvette Mitchell, an executive board member of the local NAACP, states, quote, "The Marion County NAACP branch strongly condemns the transfer of the Confederate statue to the Veterans Park." Mitchell goes on to say, while some argue that Confederate symbols reflect historical heritage, these symbols are a gross reminder of racism, bigotry, xenophobia, and the hate that have for too long plagued our country, unquote. A new study published in Geophysical Research Letters and undertaken by the University of Florida analyzed tidal and climate data for the southeastern seaboard of the United States and found that between the years of 2011 and 2015, sea level rose more than 6 times faster in the southeast United States as compared to global average sea level rise. But this was not as a result of climate change. The rapid sea level rise along the east coast from Cape Hatteras to Miami is the result of a localized sea level rise hotspot, according to the study. The study, published by Forbes, says the combined effects of the recent El Nino and the North Atlantic Oscillation drove a localized sea level increase in the southeastern seaboard of the United States. These two processes are naturally occurring with no direct link to climate change. During the El Nino events, the amount of ocean water that is pushed up against the southwestern portion of the North Atlantic increases, causing localized increases in sea level along the southeastern U.S. coast. License plate frames in Florida are fairly common, but if you have one, you might want to take it off. That's the advice from Alvaro Alves, who only escaped a ticket on his frame because he fought it in court, and a judge relented since he had already removed the frame. Alvarez was pulled over by an officer earlier this year because one of his lights was not working. He happened to have a spare bulb, and he said he would fix it on the spot, but the officer gave him a ticket for something else, his license plate frame. The officer told Alves that the frame was illegal in spite of the fact that the tag number and the registration decal were fully visible. And while some might be critical of the officer for nitpicking, he is right. Florida law bans the obstruction of any part of a license plate. The law states, quote, a person may not apply or attach a substance, reflective matter, illuminated device, spray, coating, covering, or other material onto or around any license plate which interferes with the legibility, angular visibility, or detectability of any feature or detail on the license plate, or interferes with the ability to record any feature or detail on the license plate, unquote. The fine for the violation is $114. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, times of sun and clouds with a shower or thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours, the high 90 to 94. And partly cloudy later Wednesday night, low 74 to 78. A mix of clouds and sun for Thursday with an afternoon thunderstorm in spots, but dry along the coast, the high 90 to 94. And for Friday, partly sunny with a thunderstorm or two around, especially in the afternoon, the high 88 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Scriven reporting. USDA's Ag Statistics Service and Crop Production now has reported the latest peanut estimate. They say high acreage and yields will swell peanut production forecast this year to an all-time high, 7.4 billion pounds. That's 1,700,000 tons of peanuts. Peanut acreage is already at a 26-year high, they said. The national average yield is forecast at 4,190 pounds per acre, which would rank second only to 2012 and 13 record. As of August the 6th, they said 79% of the country's peanut acreage was